What is up, warriors, and welcome back to another video. And what a stunner, what an incredible morning. Instantly in a better mood. Even better. Honestly, as long as I've got coffee and some sunshine, like, I'm happy. I'm a simple man. That's all it takes. Starting off this morning, as usual, with some low intensity exercise of some form. So usually walking around like just the houses and things near me for about half an hour. I'm not sure how many steps. Or a couple of times a week going for a sea swim down at the beach for some cold exposure and just exercise as well. But cold exposure doesn't need to be at that intensity all the time. Just being generally outside when it's cold. Today is, I think, -1, -2, but the sun is still kind of warm. Just sitting outside, being topless. This is cold exposure to some extent. You know, you could go for a walk in just a t-shirt. Again, that'd be the same thing. It's still cold exposure. The response actually from the body is similar, but you can think of maybe an ice bath or something as like your 1 rep max for cold exposure, whereas being outside, being in the cold, is more like your 12, your 15 rep max. It's a lower intensity. You can be outside longer, but the immunostimulating response and all the other benefits of cold exposure is much the same, actually. My neighbours probably think that I'm bad shit crazy though. So I'm gonna just sit and read. This is for the book club that started a couple of weeks ago. If you want to join in, I'll link to that video down below. Drink some coffee and I'll catch you when we eat some food. So it is now about 1:30. I kind of lost track of time. I haven't eaten yet today, but for me to hit training where there is actually sun in like the garden space that I have there, I need to train now, otherwise I'm just going to be really cold when I train later, and I hate training inside. So instead of the plan, I'm going to do now a nice quick and easy low-ish carb shake. So I'll share that one with you. This is something I used to do a lot for breakfast in the morning, but have since changed. And then I can eat some real food later on today, which, by the way, I have a good recipe for you tonight. A super simple bulk meal, again, to be cooking for those of you who enjoy the meal prep side of things. So let me show you my kind of go-to lower carb shake. Basically all of this, and that is basically the shake done. Now, I said it was a little bit low carb, but I actually ended up using this, which, by the way, sucks, but I had it left over and I don't want to waste it. And I realized that it's actually got about 10 grams of carbs per 100, so it makes it less lower carb. But apart from that, pretty solid shake. So in here, I've got 2 scoops of whey protein. That's kind of the bulk of the protein. Make sure we got that in. Then, as I said, using that almond milk. This is like some grain-free granola, but it's essentially just like coconut flakes. Tastes pretty alright. Some Brazil nuts for selenium and some other stuff that's in there. An avocado for thickness, more fats, and then some frozen berries as well for a little bit of sweetness and all of the good stuff in there. It's actually quite a plant-ish based breakfast minus the whey protein, which is unsurprising. To be honest with you, I think this is a little bit too processed. There's just a lot of packaged stuff here. I'd rather just have meat and some veggies, but this is not a bad option when you're low on time and it's just simple, quick, easy, and 1,200 calories. It's like the easiest 1,200 calories to eat ever. Thank God for that. Nature's pre-workout. We're going to hit today a very exciting day, actually, because it is the first session of the new phase in which the planche 90-degree push-up focus is happening. So taking a little bit of a step back from handstands, still got maybe 45 minutes, 4 times a week. That's kind of just maintenance. And then, yeah, as much energy as possible is going into planche, basically. So it'll be an interesting year to focus on some more strength moves, which I haven't done for a couple of years, and also focus on a little bit of muscle mass. So yeah, I'm not going to go into massive details with today's session, but here's some highlights. it's cold. So I actually took the past week off, partly because I came to the end of my phase of training and I was like, just gonna need a week. Everything was feeling some achy bits and pieces, and also to finish finally my bathroom, which has only taken me 2 months. But it looks pretty good now, which is honest. But I'm feeling refreshed and ready to get back into some training. Just the downside is for the next couple of weeks, handstands are gonna suck, basically. The secret to outdoor training. So much warmer. By the way, if you're wondering what this is it's an old washing machine drum, but it works great for a fire. Just sometimes, like, it gets a bit boring sat inside in the evening or something all the time, so it's nice to like sit outside with a fire, read something, just very satisfying. Anyway, on to the workout. Strength time. Only working negatives right now. I did have some reps beforehand, but since that shoulder subluxation, just kind of building back some strength. But these ones always just make my head feel like they're going to explode. Always got time for the basics. The hammer curls are for just some elbow conditioning. I actually did it in my stronger elbows video. I talked about the use of hammer curls, its interaction with like the pronator teres, the brachialis, and some other muscles here just to help support this structure. And elbows is one of the most common bodyweight injuries. And then nothing wrong with some high rep tricep work. People in, for example, Westside Barbell, which obviously produce some of the like strongest powerlifters in the world, they use a lot of high rep tricep work to assist in their pushing movements. I think triceps is something that's underutilized in bodyweight training as well. So if we're looking at a purely physique focus, which I haven't had for a few years and I kind of have felt like doing, I need some more chest work. So this is just one of the upper body days I do a week. The second one is more of a straight arm focus, and that includes some like chest flies and some other things as well. But yeah, looking forward to some mass gain. Right, so post-workout, usually I would grab a shake. Not that post-workout window is all that important, but sugar and protein post-workout does have its benefits when it comes especially to some muscle focus. But it's not the be-all and end-all. I'm just going to make some real food instead, which brings me on to the recipe of today. And that is some incredible pulled pork. It's a really, really simple one, and pork shoulder is pretty cheap. I'm sorry, but it just tastes amazing for how simple it is. As always, the full recipe will be linked in the description down below, but essentially this one is applesauce, pork shoulder, salt, leave it in a slow cooker for like 10 hours or If, like me, you have a pressure cooker, then it's only about 50 minutes. And yeah, literally that easy. That is why a pressure cooker is a must. One, because you can do stuff like that, but also if you're not cooking rice in a rice cooker or a pressure cooker, it just, Uncle Roger would not be happy.
Oh my god! Yo, that is good tossing.
And yeah, that's basically it. Super simple. And again, that one keeps super well in the fridge, or just chuck it in the freezer and, you know, keep it as long as you like for some meal prep related stuff. I'm gonna have this with just some rice. I don't usually count calories on this, I'll just eat what I fancy, but I'll do the same thing, but I'm gonna try and weigh out the meat, and then hopefully there's some sort of rough estimate as to what the calories of this are. So before I eat the main course, the pulled pork, something I'm gonna have beforehand is some oysters. And I understand that this is probably gonna sound really pretentious and, you know, fair enough, whatever. But yeah, oysters I've been having now as my replacement for taking supplements. So I stopped taking supplements maybe like a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago now, pretty much entirely. Like I used to take a multivitamin and zinc and some other stuff, but I stopped that completely and I focused on getting more nutrition from animal products such as liver, other organ meats, and oysters. Oysters are one of the best natural sources of minerals in general. They're super high in zinc and copper and a bunch of other good stuff. So instead I've been having like 8 or so oysters a week from a local fishmongers. That actually works out to be probably like half the price I was spending on supplements a month anyway. So yeah, that's the reason for the oysters. If you don't like them, then it sucks, but if you do like oysters, they're not crazy expensive and they are hella good for you. There's a really great book called Survival of the Fattest, in which they talk about the importance of near-shore seafood in development of the human brain. So if you want to read more about that, I suggest that book. But yeah, that's why I'm having oysters. Right, so that is basically the end of today's day, or yesterday's day of eating. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, trying to keep things simple. Simplicity is my main focus when it comes to nutrition. It's not something I want to be thinking too much about. As long as it's decent quality and it doesn't take me too much time to do, then I'm happy about it. I also finished up something I didn't actually record in the end, was I had some dessert, because I usually have some form of dessert. You've got to treat yourself, you know. So I ended up having some banana with some peanut butter for dessert. Pretty standard, pretty simple snack, which ended up bringing the total calories of the day to about 2,900, 2,950, so just shy of 3,000 calories, and that was made up of 207 grams of protein, 228 grams of carbs, 140 grams of fat, which is, I would say, roughly kind of what I would aim for. Certainly my main focus is hitting about 200 grams of protein, just a little bit more than the 1 gram per pound is roughly what I aim to be. It is potentially slightly overkill, but it's what I've found that I feel best eating, especially if I'm training hard and trying to gain some size as well. That is probably the biggest limiting factor, is just the lack of calories, and this is the downside of the 2 meals a day, which I tend to go for. You know, it has so many pros in the fact that it's super simple and I don't spend loads of time cooking and eating and sitting down for meals, which I love, but ultimately those meals need to end up being 2 big meals. So if I'm not really on it, then the calories lack and that ultimate goal of some aesthetics and some mass gain is lost. But I'm gonna make my focus to make sure I'm just eating more food. But definitely a first world problem there. But I'm gonna stop my rambles there, guys. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up button and support the channel. If you're gonna give this recipe a go, the pork shoulder, the pulled pork, I'm telling you, it's a banger, and it's, again, super simple. So let me know in the comment section down below if you're going to give that one a go. Whilst you're down there, you can also hit that subscribe button and join the Bodyweight Warrior tribe. But that has basically been it for this week, guys. I'll catch you in the next episode. Have a strong week, and peace.